Hi, welcome to Loft Data 1. My name is Diego, and today I'm going to be talking about Dennis Villenueve's latest film released yesterday, March 1st, 2024, Dune Part 2. It is the sequel and follow-up to 2021's Dune Part 1. Both movies were adapted from the science fiction novel written by Frank Herbert in 1965, which I have not read. Now, I normally do my reviews in sequential order of release date, but I'm a little pressed for time. I've been gone for the last month, and I'll be gone again soon, so I'm kind of in that chop loft boy mentality. Anyways, if you want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you, I really appreciate it. As a warning, this review will contain some heavy spoilers, so continue at your own risk. If there's something that you want to see reviewed, then don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, this review is straight off the noggin. I just got out of the theater about 30 minutes ago, so I apologize if this review is all over the place. Thank you. I'm hopping in 3, 2, 1. I love the plot of this movie so much. Dune Part 1 was a great film, but it was a little lackluster because it was a world-building film, a setup movie for this one. Dune Part 2 takes the reins and just the story picks up directly where the first movie left off, and for the first third of the movie, the pace feels pretty familiar to Dune 1. It's basically Paul Atreides becoming friends with the Fremen and falling in love with Zendaya, which I mean, who wouldn't fall in love with her? She is so stunning. But anyways, the first third of the movie is where a lot of the world building continues. We meet the Emperor played by Christopher Walken and his daughter Princess Irulan played by Florence Pugh. If she was in the first movie, I am so sorry for forgetting. It's been 3 years. I'm just a casual. Anyways, I love the world building during the first third of the movie. I love getting the backstory on the Emperor and his betrayal of House Atreides. I loved seeing how the Bene Gesserit, a group of mystic women, pull the strings of power behind the scenes because, well, it is a patriarchal universe and you gotta get power where you can. There is so much lore in the first third of the movie that it genuinely makes me want to sit down and read the book, which I might. My only complaint with the first third is that the pace is a little slow. In a lot of ways, it felt like the Book of Boba Fett when Boba Fett is earning the trust of the Tusken Raiders. Seems like a very fitting analogy, deserts and all. Now, the remainder of the movie for me was bonkers in the best ways. There is even more world building with the Harkonnens and Feyd-Rautha played by Austin Butler. Now, Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Christopher Walken, Florence Pugh, Javier Bardem, and the rest of the cast all do an amazing job, but Austin freaking Butler steals the movie for me. He is a psychotic menace. He feels like the love child of Gore the God Butcher and Pennywise, a tough MF with a couple of screws loose. His screen presence is undeniable. He appears and you just know there's going to be a showdown between him and Paul Atreides. With all this world building established, Dune Part 2 brings it all together in a powerful climax. Paul unites the Fremen and they attack the Harkonnens and the Emperor. So, we get a spectacular fight and see how the Fremen use the desert and the planet to their advantage against the invaders. The bad guys don't stand a chance and it is oh so satisfying seeing them eliminated in a beautiful act of revenge. But, the movie does not end there. The fall of the Emperor encourages the great houses to unite against Paul and the Fremen, promising more glorious battles and blood. Dune Part 2 is the epitome of what every sequel wishes it could be. A movie with a story and a theme that expands upon the first, yet delivers a powerful climax, and still sets up an even bigger movie. There are so many things to love about this movie. The acting is top-notch, largely in part because the cast is top-notch. Aside from Austin Butler, I loved Javier Bardem. He is such an S-tier actor. Stilgar is a great character, and I love the religious fervor and symbolism his character brings to the movie. He believes in prophecies and signs, and boy does he find them. Rebecca Ferguson, a member of the Bene Gesserit, is a conniving pregnant woman using the prophecy and signs to help Paul control the Fremen and ultimately become the sovereign of the universe. Dave Bautista, Stellan Skarsgård, and Josh Brolin reprise their roles from the first movie as Beast Raven, Baron Harkonnen, and Gurney Halleck. They are each sizable characters, not just physically, and help tie loose ends from the first movie. I already said it, but I'll say it again, Zendaya is just... If she looked at me the way she looks at Paul, I would be the first to fold. Now, the final two actors that I loved seeing in this movie are Léa Seydoux and, surprisingly, Anya Taylor-Joy. They aren't heavily in this movie, but I am so excited to see how Dune Messiah uses their characters. The last two things that I want to talk about before I wrap up this review are the soundtrack and cinematography. I am such a Hans Zimmer simp. The man knows. He knows how to create a powerful score that keeps you on the edge of your seat. I am going to get so much hate here, but I think the score for Dune 1 and 2 is so much better than anything Star Wars could ever come up with, minus Duel of the Fates. Zimmer is a passionate genius, and I admire that so much. Here's a quote from him on the production of the soundtrack for Dune 2. "I never left the world of Dune. In fact, I think Dennis thought I was quite mad because I kept writing after we finished the first movie. I think those words speak volumes, and those volumes are captured in the soundtrack of this movie." Lastly, I want to talk about Greig Fraser. This movie is so special because the plot is perfect, the pacing is excellent, the soundtrack is captivating, and the cinematography is masterful. Fraser is a beautiful camera storyteller. He and Dennis Villenueve have captured some of the most aesthetically exquisite footage my eyes have ever seen. Dune Part 1, The Batman, Blade Runner 2049. The stuff they have captured just floors me, and this movie is no exception. I understand there are a lot of desert shots, and I'm here for it, because they show the desert in a way that not a lot of movies can. There's a grand, poetic feel to what you see in this movie. I would call it a visual odyssey, and I loved every second of it. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough, so it's time to summarize. I am absolutely enamored with Dune Part 2. I will be going back to the theaters to watch this movie because the story was captivating. It built upon the story and world established in Dune Part 1. The lore was expanded, backstories were developed, and plot twists were revealed. Characters had depth, and they were portrayed by a stunning cast. Timothée Chalamet isn't an actor that I think has screen presence, but in this movie, he proves me wrong time and time again. Zendaya is, oh my god, so beautiful. Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, and Stellan Skarsgård are incredible actors and are used well. Some surprise appearances by Léa Seydoux and Anya Taylor-Joy excite me for the upcoming Dune Messiah. Lastly, Austin Butler is a freak of an actor and steals the spotlight for me in this movie. Crazed and powerful, he is what Gore the God Butcher should have been. Storytelling and acting are enhanced with some of the most beautiful cinematography and powerful scores I've ever seen and heard. Hans Zimmer is a master at what he does, and the mastery is captured here. Dennis Villenueve and Greig Fraser might be my favorite pair of visual artists. Their cinematic work with this movie rivals that of Blade Runner 2049, The Batman, and it puts Avatar to shame. I've said it once and I'll say it again, Dune Part 2 is the epitome of what every sequel wishes it could be. I cannot wait for the final film in this trilogy. If that movie is anything like this one, then I'd argue that with time, the Dune trilogy will rival the original Star Wars trilogy and Lord of the Rings. Hot take, I know, but we'll find out in about 30 years or so. Anyways, that's all I've got, so if you want to watch a captivating sci-fi film, then I cannot recommend Dune Part 2 enough. Thank you for listening to my review of Dune Part 2. If you enjoyed the content and want to support the channel, then please take a second to like and subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if you want me to review something, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. I will try to get a review for Dune Part 1 out by the end of the month, but I do have some other reviews lined up. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego, and I will see you next time.